watched event in U.S. sports, the Super Bowl, to see who is best in the world of pro football, the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Dallas Cowboys. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg. Welcome to Super Bowl 13. Super. I guess innocent enough of a title when it was first suggested in 1965 by the AFL's Lamar Hunt. It was not readily accepted, as you'll recall, by pro football, but in its simplicity, it is properly stated. By dictionary, the definition super is defined as over and above, higher in quantity, quality, or degree. And whether you're talking about the $100,000 NFL party a couple of nights ago, or the excesses of millions of words written and spoken from the media, or Tom Henderson's mouth, the enormity of this sports happening is all of that. It has been super. Even the weatherman got involved with his excesses. We had a lot of rain this morning. To check on the conditions on the field, let's go down to Brian Gumbel.
Well, thank you, Dick Enberg. You know, this is quite a fitting conclusion to this, the NFL's longest season. No matter how provincial the fan, I think he'd be hard-pressed to argue the point that indeed the two best teams in the NFL are here today. The weatherman, Fran Tarkenton, isn't sure he wants to cooperate. We had a terrible rainstorm today, but the field is in tremendous shape.
It really is. And really, the big threat now is the wind factor. The first thing Roger Staubach and Terry Bradshaw doing the command is pick up some grass and see what kind of wind we got. The wind is picking up. It could be a factor.
You've got the threat of some bad weather coming. When the wind starts to hit in this field, what happens? Does it swirl?
It does swirl, and the intermediate to long passing game would be affected. It would break up the ball, and they won't want to throw the intermediate to long pass if the wind is swirling.
Okay, our field's in good shape. Our wind's still up in the air, but we shouldn't be surprised at the bad weather because it seems to follow Mike Adamle. He's at the other end. Michael?
Well, Brian, hey, I'm like death and taxes. I suggest if you're from the Midwest and you have drought problems in the summer, give me a call because I can work wonders. I'm standing outside the Cowboy locker room right now, and moments ago both teams arrived, and I'll tell you what, that pregame wait is the most nervous moment a player can go through. They are very tense. They are very intense. Both the Cowboys and the Steelers have been here an entire week. They have been inundated by reporters and by interviews, and I'll tell you what, they are really feeling a little bit nervous, and it's tough to concentrate on the game, but I would love to be in their place right now. Speaking of intense, Donna Deverona's intense, our NBC hospitality tent's outside.
I certainly am, and we're lucky we have a hospitality tent because it was really windy this morning. It's a familiar sight at most of our major sports events. It's a place where our guests come to relax before the big game. And you can say in this Super Bowl, it's the way we got the party to the stadium. My role today will be give you a little background on what's happened here in Miami. Earlier, we visited the Jockey Club and talked to some of the celebrities. I'll also be giving a little report on just how we get this $6 million production on the air. Via satellite, we'll be reaching 18 countries, and for the first time, the state of Alaska. So welcome to the Super Bowl Sunday. I'm Donna Deverona. Let's get back to Dick Enberg.
Thank you, Don. And with me, a friend of long standing, and for 15 years as an all-pro tackle with the Los Angeles Rams, he dreamed of a Super Bowl. After 15, you finally made it.
It's nice to be here. What an exciting event. And I now know some of the feeling that I would have liked to have had as a player. For those who have played for a long time and never made it, it's like climbing Mount Everest and getting up about 200 feet from the top and then not being able to go up and stand and say, I was here, I felt it, I can carry the ring away, I know what it was like. But I'm excited to be a part of it as a broadcaster with NBC.
We're excited to have you with us, Berlin. And from high atop the Orange Bowl, let us remind you, one of the features on Super Sunday will be flashbacks of the preceding 12 Super Bowls. So let's now go back to Super Bowls 1 and 2. Those were the Green Bay years, as you'll recall. And some of the names, well, let's start with Bart Starr.
On January 15th, 1967, Vince Lombardi accepted the
Super Bowl trophy. Lombardi's Packer roster read like a Hall of Fame who's who, and the Chiefs were given little chance of stopping the likes of Jim Taylor, number 31, and the rest of the Packer stars. But shining more brightly than any star in the Green Bay Galaxy was an almost forgotten wide receiver named Max McGee, who caught 7 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. But the Chiefs were not without stars, and with a touchdown pass from Len Dawson to Curtis McClinton, Kansas City trailed the powerful Packers by only 14-10 at halftime. But in the second half, Robinson and Nitschke, Jordan and Davis, Adderley and Wood, number 24, shut out the Chiefs. And Wood's 40-yard interception return led to the first of 3 unanswered Packer touchdowns. Wood's return broke Hank Stram's Chiefs, and set up the first of 2 Elijah Pitts touchdowns as the NFL beat the AFL in round 1 of the Super Series and brought Vince Lombardi the Super Bowl trophy, a trophy later to be named in his honor. The year was 1968, the date January 14th, as Vince Lombardi coached the Packers for the last time in Super Bowl II versus the Oakland Raiders. Like Super Bowl I, the AFL representative played a respectable first half against supposed impossible odds. A 62-yard touchdown pass from Bart Starr to Boyd Dowler was answered by the first of 2 touchdown passes from Darryl LaMonica to Bill Miller. At halftime, the only thing separating the 2 teams were 3 Don Chandler field goals that gave Green Bay a 16-7 lead. But also, as in the first AFL-NFL confrontation, the Packers dominated the second half. Herb Adelai's 60-yard interception return was Green Bay's final score as they crushed Oakland 33-14 and made Vince Lombardi's last game as Packer head coach a successful